So, without further ado, would you like to take over and get us all excited?
Thank you very much. Well, I'll do my best.
Thank you, Naheed.
I'd like to start off by asking how many people here are into networking, regularly go face-to-face networking? Majority, if not all, great. Okay, so at least we've got the right audience here. Now, the thing is, I've been to several social media presentations, as some of you may have done too. They're given 20 minutes, half an hour to give you an introduction. And what ends up happening is, because of different levels of knowledge, some people will want to know where to click, how to reach various menus, and other people will want to know, actually I know where to click, I've got a profile, but what on earth am I going to get out of something like LinkedIn and certainly something like Twitter? So, based on the fact that majority of the freebie presentations may tell you where to click and not give you the actual meaty strategies, I thought what would be interesting is to have probably very few seminars where we talk about the strategy. Once you know the strategy and what you can get out of social media, then you might be more inclined to learn the rest. And for a lot of people, once they start playing with the application, they will naturally learn where to click. If they don't, there are training courses available, or the other freebie seminars that go into that kind of detail. So I'd really like to get to the meat of it today. So, to start off with, what you're going to learn today is what is in that for you. What are you going to gain from social media? Why would it be important to you? Why are you sitting here listening about this, and why you might want to attend other seminars of the same nature? Then exactly how you're going to be getting leads from these applications. Now when I say leads, I'm not just talking about sales leads. It does apply to sales leads, but for instance, recently I realised, I've been dealing with some barristers, that a lead for them would be getting onto a preferred list. They want to be on a panel, and that would be very valuable to them. So in the typical social media business world, you may not see that as a lead, but in fact it is. So how would they do that? That would be something that would be interesting for them. So what I did was I based this on the legal industry, just to give some examples so that you can actually relate to it a little bit more. And then of course, what would success look like once you're there and you're operating with social media under your belt? That'd be LinkedIn or Twitter, all the same. Right, and of course, the first thing about social media is that it is networking. It's not there to replace face-to-face networking. Nobody should ever say that, because it's an add-on. All it does is help build the same relationships and more new ones much, much quicker. So that's the aim, and there's nothing more to it. It's as simple as that. Now, what it does do for marketing plans for organisations is reduce the number of cold calls you have to make, i.e. you get more referrals, just as you would do in face-to-face networking. So let's get to the part, well, why is this going to work better for you? Simply because it's online, you're getting to meet people that would normally be nervous about networking or may not have the time, so they're doing it from home on their PCs. So you get to meet all of those people. And of course you get to meet people that you might not otherwise be able to reach, simply because everybody's online. Now, the other reason why this would be important to you is visibility. Now, for how many years, when you think of appearing on Google page #1 because nobody's using yellow pages anymore, do you think of web designers or having your website created professionally, spending thousands of pounds and getting those keywords in? Of course, there's a power shift now, because you're getting social media experts that are promising you the same for free, or rather for paying them. But you can gain this for free, because when you use social media applications, you don't need to go to the paid version. You simply need to put in your keywords in the right places, all over your profile, all over your conversations, to get onto page #1. Why that is important? Because people are searching for you and your kind of services on Google now, which majority of you probably already know. Not there. The problem with that is, like for instance with recruitment, employers, you may have heard of some stories where employers are looking up candidates, potential candidates, or their existing employees, finding their inappropriate MySpace pages, and that's having various other impact. Of course, if the employee is explicitly saying something negative about the employer, that's going to require some action anyway. But where you're finding inappropriate pages, That's, you know, there's a line there, there's a fine line there. The candidate may think, well, no, that's literally my space. That's not where you should have been. My online profile is actually on LinkedIn, where work is concerned, and that's where you actually get to know the candidate better. So it's a big thing in recruitment as well, to guide the employers to the correct profile, allow the employers the choice to see what you are professionally like and what you are not, or you might be like in your personal life, and the same goes the other way around. It allows for you to check out your suppliers, your customers, your potential employers as well. So this is where everybody goes, and this is where you would want to appear. The first thing about social media is that you never go in with direct selling attitude. You go in with an attitude to gain knowledge. You want to know what's going on where, and you want to be able to compare information from all over the world. So you could actually compare notes, or rather I do, with somebody in the States to see what the market is like over there. Applies to the finance industry very, very heavily because of the number of things that follow. So something happens in the States, we kind of know it's going to happen here. And the same happens with trends like social media. So you can do all of that, but so long as you are keeping the focus on knowledge. So as soon as you're knowledge sharing, just as you would in face-to-face, and just don't forget that, it's the same thing, so have the same respect for it, and you'll gain something from it. Okay, now next, the big confusion is, okay, which network? Majority of people that I spoke to today here know that LinkedIn is a professional network. But you get Facebook, you can also have business pages on Facebook now because they're trying to catch up. And of course then you've got Twitter, which appears to be like Facebook because it's used so casually. Now, LinkedIn is definitely a professional network, but Twitter actually can be more powerful, and I will show you how, because there is another side to it. The problem with Twitter is, because it looks so dumb, it looks like such a simple application, great for conversations that you would normally use text for or MSN. But there is another way of going around it to see the potential for a business. If you don't have time and you want to quickly get onto something professional, yeah, LinkedIn is the area to go to. And of course you've got many others which there's no point in speaking about this evening, because we're trying to actually cover this as an introduction this evening to social media, not a training course. Right, now the next concern people will have is how much time you spend on these applications. You may or may not know that with LinkedIn, you'd be investing quite a bit of time in building your profile first. There's no point in connecting to too many people unless you've got something to say on your profile. And yes, normally in a seminar, people will go through of why a photograph is important, why your location is important, but it's just the same as with face-to-face networking. All of those things are important. What you say is important. The difference is that you get to put in a status update whether you meet face-to-face or not in all of these applications. However, the initial investment of time with LinkedIn is quite high, and then it goes up and down, depending on how much you want to be involved in it. The information you receive from something like LinkedIn is very direct. So you're getting emails into your account, you can choose to look at them, choose not to. They're there in your face, and you can see whether the subjects are interesting to you or not. With Twitter, your profile is really, really quick. It's very, very short, just as the status update is. It's 140 characters. Your profile biog is 160 characters and no more, so yes, you'll have to write it cleverly, but it's very, very quick. But your involvement goes up the more people you're so-called following or connecting to, and it only increases. The reason for that is, in case you don't know, is the status updates being so short means that people will be sending you updates which are URLs. You click on a URL and guess what? You've got 400 words at least to read through. And how many of those tweets are you going to be looking at? How many URLs are you going to go through and then suddenly think, I was supposed to do some work today? You know, it's just going to be annoying. So in that respect, the time lag is, well, the time that you're going to put into it is going to increase. With Facebook, it's a little bit like down to the number of friends or connections that you have. The more connections you have, the more conversation will go on, and the more applications they'll be using to intrigue you, and of course your involvement will increase. But it's very much in the middle of Twitter and LinkedIn. So that's what you can expect where time is concerned.